Okay, you are tuning in to another episode of. I guess I've never said what in my other recordings what this is actually called. This is called "Hold Me Back," and the idea of it is that, um, uh, that just like you're not going to stop me from saying what I want to say, but I'm not going to stop you from saying what you want to say either. Um, and I'm not saying you necessarily, like
Yeah, yeah.
my guest, but just like the audience and stuff
Yeah,
like
no, I
that,
hear
you
you. I
know.
hear you. I hear you.
And this week's guest, on this episode, is a cool guy. I've had the opportunity to, you know, see him every week, and we're coworkers actually, and um, it's it's uh it's cool how this kind of started. I kind of saw that, like, a little spark in you a little bit, and I was like,
Mm.
this guy seems like he would talk, and that's why I originally said to him, I want to. I was like, I wish that we could talk, and he's like another time in another place, and I wasn't even doing this podcast yet, and then it was like a month later, I was starting the podcast, and then I'm like, yo, I got a time and place kind of thing. Would you want to do this? And you're like, yeah, like actually, you were pretty down, and so yeah, this week's guest is um yeah, I I I call my guests my friends.
Yeah.
I think you're a friend.
Yeah.
We're friendly with each other,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
I consider you a friend.
Yeah.
So this week's guest is one of my new friends, Jordy. Yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, no problem. I'm excited for this.
Yeah,
That seems pretty dope. Now that the recording is going, it's actually pretty dope.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Um, so we were actually just talking about how you were saying that you wanted to do a podcast before, and you're too busy, or you just life life is too crazy for it, and
Right.
like, I get that so much, where it's just like, even right now, my stress of, I feel like I have a lot on my shoulders,
Right.
and in every episode, it's like, it almost seems like I'm reiterating stuff
Yeah.
like this,
Yeah. Yeah.
honestly. And but I feel the world weighing me down lots of the time, and then when I'm like, when I get this like feeling to do a podcast and stuff like that, and I'm like, uh, okay, yeah, sure, and then I tell my wife about it. She made it like a solid, this is a tangible thing, and
Right.
this is actually happening, kind of
Right.
thing. And so now I have to do it, and so it's like, now it's just like, so basically my first thought was like, now I have another thing to fail at. But someone said to me, actually, another coworker, actually, he actually said to me, at least you have something to fail at. At least you're like trying something, and so, just from talking to this, just talking with you with this and stuff like that, I hope that, like, you were saying that, your brothers were like, oh, that'd be sick, like, I hope that, like, you're able to do something like that.
I mean, like I said, it's like I'm open to, like I'm actually like in a position in my life right now. Like I'm open to trying new things. One of it, of course, is being in a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Because of course, like I don't want to go into every year, every month doing the same shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just don't feel like you grow as a person, you learn anything about yourself or anything like that if you're always in a position of comfortability. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like what the other coworker is, I don't know who he is, but
Yeah.
like what the other coworker is saying is like how you felt there was a lot of weight on you.
Yeah.
It's like what he was saying, how at least you have something to fail at. I actually get that. Like
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Like for myself, like even with the whole YouTube thing, when I told you that when I was making my YouTube channel, I did it because of my passion for gaming.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was, I've always enjoyed it. I've always did it, but it was always like I would rather go into it, put in X amount of hours, X amount of time, and even if I fail, this is like at least I tried.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I can feel happy about that. Like like even the fact that when I quit or I stopped doing it,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like I was a failure or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, you know what, I tried and I enjoyed it, and I could potentially come back because I've learned skills along the way, like video editing.
Yeah.
Like mics, and like I've gained a lot of knowledge from it, and that's something I can carry on
Yeah.
into other projects or other activities. But I would rather try and fail than to not try and always live with that what if.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you don't know where it can potentially bring, right?
Mhm.
Or where it can potentially lead you to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, with the whole podcast, like with my brothers,
Yeah.
we can do it, and in our heads we think, oh, you could be the best thing, or we might be number one. Unless if it doesn't, it's just like, honestly, man, at least we tried.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna like hold that that disappointment or anything like that. Because of course, anything we go into, we're gonna think like we're gonna hope that it becomes successful, right? One big idea, we think we're gonna make it, but the reality is like there's so many different things that so many other people are doing.
No, true.
And that's kind of like the reality of it all too, right?
The one thing that I'm thinking though, and like that you could potentially cash in on, is a group of black guys in Canada.
Yeah.
Like that happens in the States. That happens in California and Miami and stuff like that. It doesn't happen in northern Alberta. You know what I mean?
You're right.
And so like you guys could have a totally different perspective.
100%.
And like like you know what the cold is like, like and just stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just like I feel like you'd have a little more of a even if you're not redneck, it's still in your blood a bit. You know what I mean?
100%.
Because you grew up here.
100%. And then like the thing, it's like with the podcast, if I were to do a podcast with my brothers, it will be so X-rated. It will be so unfiltered.
Yeah.
It will be like it's like something that we'll probably get canceled on, like dead ass. And that's kind of the thing is like if you've seen our group chat, wow, that shit's stupid.
Yeah.
But it's fun, right? I feel like it's like that, like unfilteredness is something we actually need more. There's 4 of us, so there's 3 brothers I have.
That's crazy,
right? So we're all like 3 years apart.
Yeah.
So except for me and my little brother, we're only a year apart.
Yeah. You guys are loud, probably. Eh?
Oh, we're loud. No. We're allowed. We're allowed. And that's the thing. But it's all like the way that my brothers and I talk to each other. It's always like insults. It's always this and this. You know what I mean? It's always like, let's say if they're all at the house and let's say I'm going out and I'm dressed up. I never dress out. I never like leave my house. They're not even like, yo, you look good. It's more like, yo, where you going? You know what I'm saying? That's their way of saying you look good. You know what I'm saying? But like that's like a slight insult to like this a slight insult to just my character or how I'm dressed or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So and of course like just other opinions that we have about just random stuff. It's always like it's very opinionated, right?
Yeah.
And it can definitely get to a point where it can get a little hectic, it can get a little loud, it can get insulting. Somebody might even get offended, but it's all like love at the end of the day. It's just our personalities like clashing because in a sense we do have different personalities, but it works well. You know what I'm saying? Like if you were to see my brothers and I talk and just have like a conversation, you'll be like, I will actually love to see you guys like talk, just talk, about random shit, and that is like so, like I said, the podcast.
Do you guys all like kind of dress the same, or is it like, is it is it like one of you like more of a hipster or like?
Honestly, I'll say it right now. I'm the best dressed out of all of them.
Okay,
I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. There's
Yeah.
nobody that I can think of that can honestly argue with me.
Yeah.
Argue with me about that.
Your younger brother, would probably come closest, right?
Definitely not.
No, he's
None of
no.
them. None of them.
No?
I don't even care.
Okay.
They come close to each other. They don't come close to me.
Okay, yeah,
Period.
nice, yeah.
Like, because I actually care about like about like my fashion sense. Like,
Okay.
I care about that shit.
Yeah.
I take care of like all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm very. I'm just about fashion. For them,
for
they're
sure.
more casual, kind of like stuff like that. They don't really find importance to it.
Yeah.
But I do.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So
No, I understand that 100%.
So, yeah. So
I grew up in Peace River, and I was one of 4 or 5 people that wore skinny jeans kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, I was the gay kid kind of thing. It was like,
you stand out.
Yeah.
You stood out. Yeah.
If I was in Edmonton, I would have fit right in kind of thing. But, it was just.
It's funny because Edmonton doesn't really have a. I don't know. I feel like they don't really have a fashion scene here.
No.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes I do feel like I do feel like that I don't like to necessarily follow trends, but like I do like to have my own style in a sense,
100%.
But I guess it is in a sense, I do get my like the mullet, it's kind of in, so I want to do the mullet, I do follow that in a sense, but I definitely don't let people tell me what to wear and stuff like that.
And 100%. I totally get that because even like my style, like a lot of my style is inspired by the fashion like in Europe, right? Nearly none of my clothes are from here. Like I feel like, in my personal opinion, I feel like the style here, the fashion here is kind of basic.
Yeah.
The place in like Europe is just like I just love their style. It's different. It stands out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what my style inspired from.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads to my parents, even my brothers commenting on my styles like, oh, your shirt's too long or your jeans are too skinny. I'm just like, well, dude. Next time when I ask for your opinion, I'll ask for your opinion. You know what I'm saying? I look myself in the mirror and I look fucking good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I walk outside, people comment on my stuff.
Yeah.
My family's literally the only people that are like, yeah, you kind of dress a little strange. No, I just dress different from you. You know what I'm saying? But everybody else, they're like, yo, I like your pants. Oh, I like your jacket. Oh man, you look good today. I'm just like, oh, thanks.
That's like honestly, and that's just my like I would have thought that even your sisters, like do your sisters do that too?
No, my sisters don't.
Oh, okay. So your sisters.
My sister are like, oh, Jordy, you look good. Oh,
Okay, yeah,
Jordy,
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
It's my brother.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I would have assumed that just given what we are fed today, just in media, whatever kind of thing, that like that all of your brothers would really care about how they look like.
Oof,
because we're fed this image that like black people are kind of the
fashion,
and they can look good in anything too, and they honestly do. Honestly, that is like that's the white curse. It's just like we have to try hard to look good. Like black people can just.
I mean, it's kind of. I don't know. Like it's interesting that you say that because it's like
that's just my perspective. Like that's just like humble perspective.
Yeah, 100%. And I can understand from your perspective, but from my perspective, I don't even know a lot of black people that actually dress well.
Really?
In my personal, at least from my standard, right? Like, I guess it can kind of be like a bias thing.
Yeah.
But from my standard, I haven't really seen a lot of people, like whether it's family, friends, or even people that like I see outside.
Yeah.
Black people that dress well or different or it kind of stands out or anything along those lines. It's like there's no hate to them.
So
you know
even
what I mean?
They're not wearing like cheap clothing. Even if they're wearing like expensive and they look like kind of like a gangster kind of thing or whatever. But it just that's the norm. Is what you're saying, kind of thing.
I guess it's because I feel like because like there's simplicity says like it's loud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not like the clothes that I wear. Like they're not high branded stuff.
No, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just they're just well looking clothes. You know what I'm saying? They're not expensive or anything like that. I'm not wearing Gucci. I'm not wearing Louis. I'm not wearing Prada.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing Gucci belt. I'm not wearing any of that shit.
But it's not Old Navy.
It's not Old Navy.
Yeah.
No. But it's like a good like
no offense. I mean
of course, right? But like it's in between like I don't know. I guess
so my brand is Volcom. So it's like it's a higher end skater brand.
Okay.
But it's again, it's nothing like you're not spending $300 on a shirt kind of thing.
Yeah. And I wouldn't spend $300 on a shirt realistically.
No.
Like if I do spend $300 on a shirt, then I like that fucking shirt. You know what I mean? But like the most I probably spend on a shirt is like $150.
Yeah.
But and that's probably that's part of the farthest I'll go.
And that usually that's like a pretty that's like a button up. It's a nice shirt. Like it's like
honestly it's just a plain tee.
Really?
It's a plain,
crazy.
Maybe like this shirt. Okay, this clothing brand is called Represent.
Yeah, but you have an Audi too, right?
Yeah. But no, but don't let the Audi represent like my taste. Like believe me, I've always wanted an Audi for.
I am in debt, bro.
Oh, dude, I tell you, if I didn't buying that Audi probably wasn't the best financial decision, but I've always wanted one. So I was just like, so when I was looking, I messaged the dealership like two or three like separate dealerships, and I booked for an appointment. And they would message me that day saying, "Oh, it got sold or whatever." I was like, "Fuck, man! Like I want an Audi because the car that I had before was associated with my ex that I didn't want to fucking. I just wanted to get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted a new car. So I figured like, okay, I want an Audi. I'm gonna look for an Audi, and I wanted a coupe.
Okay.
Like I'm not getting a sedan. I'm getting a coupe because the coupe is for me. It's not for anybody else. You know what I mean? I just want to make that shit clear. So anyway, so like two dealerships like, oh, got sold out, whatever, and then the last one, it was at I got this in Sherwood Park.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And then he was like, yeah, come down. I was like, all right, cool. I want to go down. And then he basically told me the numbers. I was like, I just told him because he was telling me that I got to pay like I don't know what the first like deal was or the
Mhm.
first numbers he was giving
It's
me,
too high.
but it was too high.
Yeah.
I was like, bring it lower.
Yeah.
He bring it lower. He was like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. I was like, listen, man, I'm not leaving here without that car. Just give me the right numbers and I'll buy the car right now.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, okay. He wanted to speak to his manager like 3 times. And then finally we came to an agreement. And then he showed me the car. And it was even better than what I thought it would be.
Nice.
Because the car that is like how it is right now is how it was.
Yeah.
Except for like being tinted and all that shit.
Yeah.
But like it came all black exterior, black interior, black rims, 19s.
Nice.
And like it had low kilometers. I was like, dude, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, yo,
Nice.
give me the papers.
Yeah.
And I just like signed it off. But then at the same time though, if I wasn't still living at home, I wanted to buy the car.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Yeah.
Right. But because I was living at home, I was like, you know what, I can take advantage of this and I'm gonna buy something that I actually like want and I can treat myself. You know what I'm saying?
So the way you talk, like, do all your brothers, like, do your whole family live at home still, kind of thing?
No. It's just me, my youngest sister. Everybody else, my little brother, my older siblings.
Okay. Do you guys see them quite a bit though?
Once a week.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Once a week.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
I see my sisters every 3 to 4 years, kind of thing.
Oh. Well.
Yeah.
Okay. Then in that case, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, but yeah, it was. That's another best financial decision, but
No,
I don't regret
mean,
it.
honestly, like, I mean, yeah, it's a sick car.
Yeah, like, honestly, I just believe in treating myself like at the end of the day. Like, there's more
Yeah. If
in
you
my
can
personal
do it,
business,
you
there's more to
know.
life than just paying
Yeah.
bills. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
like, I wanted the car, I got the car.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you could, yeah, that's the thing. You could either be paying bills on a car that you don't like, or you could be paying bills on a car you do like.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what I'm saying? And it's enough where I can like go buy and like. Plus, on top of that, like long term, it helps with my credit, helps with my what's the word? Like it helps with my, I guess, trustworthiness. I guess.
Yeah.
For the
Okay.
bank and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So if I do buy, other purchases,
Yeah.
then they can look at my track record and be like, okay, he hasn't missed a payment or anything like that. Even buying, it can help me with buying a house too, because it shows that I was on time,
Mhm.
so it won't be an issue or something like that. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? So long term, it actually helps me out
Mm.
because I don't plan on moving out for another couple of years.
Yeah.
So long term, it works.
I got a question.
Mm.
A lot of stuff, like, do you follow news, like Canadian news much? No. Honestly, I don't follow a lot of Canadian news. It's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard. Like now that I've been doing this podcast, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I should follow Canadian news.
Yeah.
I'm a Canadian podcaster,
Yeah.
so it's like, yeah, that should be what I should be doing. But a lot of the time lately in the Canadian news, Okay, so like, I do want to ask like a few deeper questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Um, you said you've grown up in Canada your whole
Right.
life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do pay attention to the media, and so
Right.
like I'm sure you still pay attention to like YouTube and stuff like that, right? And like what like there I'm sure you can still see that there is some sort of uh message, whether that I'm sure like, do you still see that there is like a divide, in the world kind of thing, or do you just not pay like this is like, if you don't like, that's completely fine, like that's,
I mean, it's man, this is the
or do you just not care and you just like hope that there's not a divide?
no. I mean, this is there's always gonna be some sort of divide in almost every aspect
Mm-hmm.
and like everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's stupid, and I think it's sad because like at the end of the day, we all want the same thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know why this is so complicated. I don't get why like it's, I don't know. It shouldn't be the way that it is right now. We should definitely be more unified.
Yeah.
Is that even a fucking
Yeah,
word?
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
We should
yeah.
definitely be more like unified
Yeah.
in a sense that we should be more supporting each other emotionally and just like, opening businesses and like but like it's just always like racial, there's always like culture, there's always religion, and there's always politics. I'm just like, man,
Yeah.
like people can't have different opinions anymore
Yeah.
or different thoughts or different like, it's just like, why make things so complicated?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If at the end of the day, we can universally agree that we all want the same thing.
Yeah.
We all want to be successful. We
Yeah.
all want to be heard. We all want to be seen. We all want to be supported.
Yeah.
We all want to feel cared.
Yeah.
But like we let so many things, like like different opinions and different stuff like that, divide us.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but why though? Like at the end of the day, like my for example, like my homies, I've known them for 13, 15 years. That shit's not gonna change.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they have their opinions, I have mine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're religious people. Like they go to church, they pray and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't.
Like other black dudes or white
Yeah,
dudes?
they're other black guys.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They go to church.
Not
they
that that
pray.
matters,
Yeah,
but
they're
it kind of
yeah.
just helps you to kind of just see a picture of it.
Yeah,
kind of
100%,
thing. Yeah.
right? But it's just like with them, it's just like, they go to church, they pray, and all that stuff. They're not like heavy, like
Yeah,
like,
no,
there's
yeah.
some people that like heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're like at a good middle ground.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where
Yeah.
they're accepting to different like thoughts and opinions.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what it is. It's just like, I'll have my opinion about certain things. They have their opinions about certain things. And then we just kind of discuss it. We may have disagreements, but it's never like an argument. It's never like we never create an environment where we can't openly express our opinions or thoughts without any with like consequence to it. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what it's like anymore. Like in general, right?
Yeah.
Like
So like, do you find that you have those same encounters with like white people or like even brown people or even Asian people?
ooh, that's a good question.
Because okay, so like here's the thing. I don't see Canada as the same thing as USA, but what I see Canada trying to do is mimic USA in a lot of ways.
Right.
And so when I see the media saying that there's black on Asian hate kind of thing or whatever, in certain cities or whatever, and it's like it's rising or whatever
yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's not Canada, but we all see that news,
Yeah.
and so we assume that that's happening here, and I don't know if like, to me there's been so many cultures in Canada at one time for so long that it's never been like and I could be wrong, okay?
Mhm.
But to me it's not been about necessarily race in Canada, but more about who you stand with and like what your values are, kind of thing.
Okay, sure.
I think that Canadians as a whole have, because we started, the Canada was like started like kind of like the year after slavery was abolished, right, or something like that,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? And like I've been fighting with this dude on Twitter or whatever kind of thing, or X, and like I was like saying that we don't have the freedom of freedom of speech in Canada here, and he said we don't have freedom of speech, but we have freedom of expression. And so like I was like, okay, I mean, yeah, that I guess so, but but what I mean by but like that kind of does go back. Canada has always been someone who's cared, has been able to look past color. And if you are a color, you're a black person, and so like that could be a totally different experience for you. But like, that is something that I do wonder, is have you had a lot of like racist moments as growing up?
It's funny. Actually, there's been probably, okay, to go back to like one question that you asked about like the like how like the conversation with my homies when like they're religious and I'm not, but we can come into like
have
an
you
agreement,
had that
whatever.
same with
That's, because this is one person that I hold dearly to my heart. Unfortunately, he's not here anymore, but I hold dearly to my heart. Okay, he was a supervisor I used to work with when I was working on my last job.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So he was like, for me, he was like a second dad. He was like the father figure, the dad I never had. Right?
Yeah.
So with him, he was a white person.
Yeah.
Right? Now I loved him to death, but we did not agree on a lot of things.
Yeah.
But that's what made our relationship as strong as it was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because even though I had my different opinions, different experiences, he had his different experiences, different opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I strongly agree with a lot of them, we still loved each other at the end of the day. We still care for each other today. We still create an environment where we can openly express our opinions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hether he says, "Oh, why do black people say this?" right? Or do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'll listen. I won't even feel offended. I'll even laugh, right? Because whether he thinks whatever he thinks I think is ridiculous, I still laugh because it's just like, oh, you actually like believe that, right? But I want to hear what led to that opinion. Or
well, I'm sure thought. Sometimes you laugh too because some of the stereotypes might have been a little
100%,
true too,
right? 100%. Like some of the stereotypes is like. It's like if he says something like, "Well, why are black people so loud?" I was like, "No, that's actually a fact. We are loud." You know what I mean? And I laugh. Like it's just, but that's just kind of the environment that we created. It's just like there was no like hate, regardless of whether our opinions are completely wrong or like just completely against his belief or completely against mine. It was just we just came to like an agreement that like just because we have different opinions doesn't mean we can't have a relationship.
Yeah,
and that's something that, like I said, is just really lacking. In my opinion, in today's world, whether that's here, whether in the States.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the States is a different thing. I've never been there. I don't know the culture there, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I know it's a complete, even though we're very similar, it's a completely different world.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
It is, yeah.
But like I said, it's with him, it was just, there was never a time where I felt like I couldn't openly speak my thoughts, right? Now, with that being said, I personally haven't been, I've only been in one racial experience, but it was also, I think, a good experience for that person. Okay, because of course, like, okay, so to tell the story, right?
Yeah.
So this was my first serious relationship. Okay. With this girl, her mom wasn't indirectly racist towards me.
Yeah. Okay.
But she would say things to my girlfriend at the time about her opinions of black people.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So. What I recall, I think the mom told my ex that a black person killed her brother, which was completely false. It was a bullshit story.
Yeah,
he died from something else.
It was just someone in the dark.
It was just something else, right? So she came up with that story, to hate or have hate towards black people.
Yeah.
Now, for many people, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I ain't fucking with that. I'm out of the relationship, right?" And probably would have been the best decision.
Yeah.
But then, but like for me, I really, I love the daughter, so I was like, you know what, let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
Right? But what I realized is that she hasn't encountered a lot of black people in her life.
Yeah.
So of course there's a lot of bias. Because of course, if you haven't really encountered black people and all you hear is bad things about them in the news, that's always going to shape your opinion about them. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So that's kind of what it was with her.
Yeah.
But as she got to know me, that opinion changed. She then looked at me like a son she never had. She then took care of me. She drove me home. We got close. Like I looked at her as my second mom.
Yeah.
Right. But that's kind of the thing. It's like if people are open minded to the possibility of your like reality like changing or like just alternating, the world would be such a better place. Because like we don't talk. I haven't spoken to her in years because there was just a bit of conflict with her or whatever. Yeah. But at the end of the day, that love is still there. Yeah. Like if I were to see her now, like I'm gonna stop everything, give her a hug, and be like, "Hey, how you been?" and all that stuff. That love is still there. Like.
and like you're saying, like she never, and this is what I think about Canadians too, is that yeah, like I people just don't understand, I think. And they just don't know a lot of the time. And you even said, she wouldn't be openly racist in front of you,
No.
And she would be as kind as she'd probably be as kind as
Yeah.
in front of you,
Yeah.
because she didn't want to offend you. I don't. That's what I'm getting from that.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I really don't know what would have came to it.
Yeah.
If, like, let's say
if she did say slip up or something.
If she did say something.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that was fucked up. Like look into it. How are you gonna come up with a story that a black person killed a brother? You know what I mean?
Sure, the story thing. Yeah, for sure.
That's the fucked up part, right?
Sure, yeah.
But it's like, but like I said, it's just, it's interesting that bias towards black people just came from things that just from things that she heard, whatever. And a lot of people are like that though. Like my parents are like that too, right? That their opinions about other people is based on what they hear, not necessarily what they experience. Yeah. But even with their experience, they generalize as saying, "Oh, all people like this." Okay. Like let's say all Asians are like this, all black people are like this. Oh, like that's why racism still exists to this day, because we believe that just because you see so many, I know this is actually a big part, but like see so many black people robbing places. Yeah. Oh, all black people steal. Yeah. That's actually a stereotype. Like you hear it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But is it really true though? No, it's not. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just something you experience a lot. So there's
Russian gangsters robbing.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it's
and they just happen to wear black masks. So they just look like black people, kind of thing. Yeah.
but like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like it's just like like I can understand that part where like if you see it so many times, of course it's gonna shape your reality. Like, we all do it in one form or another. One is more harmless than others. Yeah. But still, it's like at the end of the day, it's like not everybody are like racist. Not everybody are this and this. Not all white people are bad. Not all black people are bad. But at the same time, not all black people are good. Not all white people are good either. It's just, but it's like there should be a balance between, whatever, and like be open to the.
Sorry, I just had this joke come in my head. I'm like, when I was a kid, like watching porn, like it didn't matter what color the girl was,
You know what I mean? It's like, yo, who fucking cares? You know what I mean? Like, booty at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's what I'm saying. It's just like, man, just because. Like, what does it matter that our colors are different? No, yeah. What does it matter? Our experiences may be different, but like it goes down to what I was saying. No, we all want the same thing at the end of the day, right?
So, I have this other friend, and he's gonna be on one of my episodes. You'll be able to watch him actually. His name's Gracie, and when we were having a conversation, he kind of explained to me what I kind of thought, but I didn't really know how to say it, and so like he gave me like the words to say it, and so this is kind of like an opinion. So when I would say there was a time, it was around like in the early 2000s kind of thing, 2005, 2010-ish kind of thing or whatever. No, not 2010. So it was like earlier 2000s kind of thing. Yeah.
It's just man, this is like this, like even like myself. I know, like like I don't know, like sometimes my brothers say, "Oh, they're increasing taxes." I was like, dude, who fucking cares, man?
We've
Like,
always had crazy
like,
taxes.
I don't. I just like, dude, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
He's like, oh, but it's gonna make it harder for people to buy a first house. But other than that, I'm still getting a house.
Yeah.
Like when I'm ready.
Yeah.
So what did it goes up? Just get your finances up. Just be better with your finances, and by the time you decide to get a house, I'm sure you'll be good.
Do you find that you're?
But then again, I could also be wrong. I don't know, because I still live at home, so I could be a little
but
wrong.
I mean,
right?
at the same time, you just have to pull up your bootstraps and
Yeah.
do it. You know,
Yeah.
really, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's meant to be like I think we always want like an easy world, and like such an easy life. Even me personally, I'm like I like I would love for this podcast to blast off, so I could just like do something like that, right? But like, and I'm not saying that that's easy, to all the podcasters out there. I'm not saying you have an easy job, but you know, it's just like just
No, trust me, I know, I'm sure it's not easy.
but like I think it's easier than, killing my body kind of thing. And like what was I getting with that? No, but I appreciate that you have that opinion. And I think that if you talk to a lot of black people that grew up in Canada, I think that you would find that they would have a lot of that same opinion almost.
Maybe.
And it's and the only reason is because like and maybe not, maybe there are, maybe if you go down like into Vancouver and stuff like that, there's probably a lot where there's a lot more gangs in Vancouver.
Yeah.
There's some gangs in Edmonton for
There
sure.
definitely is.
But like which I'm finding out there's some crazy stuff.
It's
man.
a lot of shit. We live in a very. It's one hell of a time to be alive. Let's put it that way, because there's a lot of shit that's been going on the last. Honestly, let's just say it's been pretty crazy since COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day there's always something.
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, damn.
And so you've never thought once like
I mean, I don't know the stuff people say and blah blah blah. I'm just like, at the end of the day, we made it out.
That's
Hey,
true.
you know what I'm
No,
saying?
it is true.
Whatever it is like, at the end of the day, we're past it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like,
so you don't think that like I mean, and you don't follow the news. So like,
No.
like sometimes I wish I didn't follow the news because it makes my world so just like, okay, I got to be ready, like, and like, and it's not a diss, but I appreciate your nonchalantness, in a sense, and it's just
there's life's way too short to stress about something you can't control.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
As it's always, I just try to control what I can, and then try to live a honest life at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? I try to be the realest man I can be. That's all.
Honestly, that honestly to me, that sounds like a pretty sweet place to end on.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed this a lot.
Yeah,
and,
it was fun. Yeah. It was fun.
You have a lot of insight, and I would love to invite you back on for another round sometime.
Sometime. Yeah, I'm done for it. Honestly,
cool.
Like, it was fun.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the Stevey B Show. I guess Jordy this week, and yeah, peace.
Peace.